What's going on? What's going on, beautiful people? Man, I don't know what's going on. Every time it's time for us to go live, there's always something. There's always some complications. I don't really know why. But today we got to the bottom of it. So we do have a good live for you guys today. Thank you for being patient enough. I hope that you guys didn't leave already. Today we have a good live session for you guys today, and it's with somebody that you already know, someone who've already been on the channel already. Her name is Unbreakable and Uplifting. She's one of the ladies who basically came to the channel and talked about the things that she went through when it comes to abuse relationship and all that crazy stuff. So today we're gonna talk about the importance of a prenup, or is a prenup a deal breaker? You know what I mean? We're gonna go ahead and talk about that. We do apologize over the fact that we couldn't get here like exactly at the time that we said we were gonna get here, knowing how you guys probably was waiting, were waiting for us. Let me go ahead and grab. Let me go ahead and grab Unbreakable and Uplifting to the live. I hope that you guys are doing good. I'm absolutely sorry over the fact that we did not get on exactly at the time that we said we were getting on. We apologize about that. I'm basically sending notifications to other people. So let's go ahead and grab Unbreakable and Uplifting.
Hey, Peace.
Hey,
How
what's
are
going
you?
on?
Hey.
Man, every time, last 2 Sundays ago, I don't know what happened, and the lady was trying to get on. The lady was trying to get on. This is something I'm gonna have to get to the bottom of. You know what I mean? Because technical difficulties keep getting the best of us. How you doing today?
I am fabulous. How are you?
Good, 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 good. I know you have a busy schedule. Thank you again for being here.
Thank
How's the
you.
process of healing going?
Say that again? How's the
How's
process
the
of
healing?
healing going?
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, it's a process. It's a process, right? One
Process.
day at a time, one day at a time. That's all you can do.
Um, Knowing that we're always talking about relationship stuff, and something came on the news earlier this week or last week, if I'm remembering correctly. It's about Bill Gates and his wife, or soon to be
Mhm.
ex-wife, and the whole thing. And anybody who lives, especially in the United States, at the very least, we know who Bill Gates is, right?
Yeah.
Bill Gates is one of the richest men in the world, and with a net worth of $145 billion. Him and his wife were getting a divorce. And the one question, like any celebrities or anybody who've got money, the first question us, middle class or lower class, always asking, did he have a prenup?
Prenup. Right.
So for some reason, they did not. They've been together for 27 years. They've
Wow.
got 3 kids. I think the age 25, 21, and 18, if I'm remembering correctly. So, and her net worth is about $2.4 billion compared to 145 billion.
Hmm.
So there's been a bunch of rumors about him going to his ex-girlfriend. They've been dating each other. The wife even gave permission to him. That's another discussion. The main discussion that I want to talk to you, especially somebody who's dealt with financial abuse.
Hmm.
Um, what's your stake? What's your take on prenup? What do you think?
That's a really good question.
Mhm.
Um, I've had to think about this today.
Yeah.
And, if I use only my most recent relationship as an example, would a
Mhm.
prenup have been beneficial? Absolutely, a prenup would have been beneficial. But, especially when you're entering into or coming out of a toxic relationship, it's not, at the top of your list. You don't have that necessarily on your, okay, these are my boxes that I need checked,
Mhm.
especially standard middle class. We don't think about those things necessarily. I think a lot of us in, the middle class that we're in, we've got, maybe we own a home, we've got the 401ks, hopefully some of us have some savings, some life insurance, but nothing compared to Bill Gates,
Yeah.
So it's it's definitely something that you need to think about. It would have been beneficial in my last relationship, simply, well, first and foremost, because of the debts. So, as an example, in my last relationship, my abuser's credit was horrible, horrible, absolutely horrible, and I worked very hard to rebuild our credit and enable us to buy a house and obtain things and kind of just build our portfolio per se, but not realizing what was going on with regards to the financial abuse, it ended up during the divorce that everything was in my name only, despite the fact that it was community debt. It was all incurred during the marriage. And I've said before, I'm in Texas. Texas is a community property state. Despite the fact that it was all considered community debt, it was still a battle because everything was in my name. And my abuser sat on the stand and said he had no idea about any of this debt. So did he benefit from it? Absolutely. Would a prenup have been beneficial in that respect? Yeah, it would have. It would have been clear cut on, any debts that we incur, any assets that we incur. This is how it's going to go. But again, that was not a thought process in the beginning. Where I'm at now, single, and having worked very hard to rebuild my portfolio. And by portfolio, I own a house and I've got a 401k and got a life insurance, a little stock. I'm not Bill Gates, but I have 2 kids and a grandbaby, and I want them protected. So should the time come that I decide I've met someone and yes, we want to go ahead and get married, I'm going to protect what I've worked so hard for myself and for my children. So I can see where it's beneficial. I can see where it certainly could have assisted me in the past, but you live and learn, right?
Yeah. So moving forward, what you're saying is, since you've already dealt with such situation, you will never get into a relationship without signing a prenup, or is it?
I think it's definitely something that would have to be discussed.
Okay, so you.
When you talk about a prenup, you're talking essentially about trust issues, right?
It's trust issues, but at the same time, for instance, let's say that in Bill Gates' situation, this is my take. For somebody who's built with me, let's say that we've known each other for a while, we were together when I wasn't nothing, or I didn't have anything. Let me rephrase that. I did not have anything financially, and I worked my way up, and within the time we were beside each other, we were with me around this time, despite us being good together or not. The fact that you were still there when I was building that craft, a prenup wouldn't be necessary for me. This is me. I'm throwing out there just to be honest about it. You know what I mean? But if we're going to talk about somebody that I just met after, I built a bunch of stuff, at some point, we're definitely going to have that discussion. My only thing is, you have some noise here. My only thing is, there are people, despite knowing that a woman or a guy helped them get to where they are, they still felt the need to have them sign a prenup, or still feel some type of way when it comes to give them a little bit of their share, as somebody who's been there with you, supporting you, helping you, listening to you, because success is not just materialistic or concrete stuff. Success is also the nights that you're ready to give up and somebody's telling you not to give up because you started this. You know what I mean? Companionship or partnership within the whole process. And for somebody, if this person was already there by my side, it's my job. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna give you half, but if I have 200,000, I'm like, okay, you know what? Get this 50. You already have my son, you already have my kids, especially if there are kids within the mix. You know what I mean? It's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, you already have my kids. I want you to be well taken care of. The next person who's gonna come in my life, prenup it is. I'm not even gonna joke about it. You know what I mean? But and the thing is, especially for Bill Gates, I feel like for somebody to have 145 billion while your wife only has 2.5 billion and y'all been together for 27 years, you've already got 3 kids together, something is off balance.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that. I completely agree with that. Coming into, especially, I think, maybe when we're younger, I'm not young, but especially when we're younger, going into my last relationship, we built, we built what we had. And, um, again, community property state in the state of Texas, basically, our attorneys and the judge put everything on a spreadsheet and tallied everything up and then sliced it right down the middle. Yeah, I absolutely worked my butt off to purchase the homes that we have. And I absolutely worked my butt off to, purchase the cars that we had and, our assets and all of that. So did I agree with splitting that down the middle? Yes. It's just the way that that had to be done. I wasn't overly excited about with regards to when you balance out the assets and the debts. But during that marriage, we ended up with 2 houses at the end of the marriage. And that was probably the only thing that we agreed on, was that I wanted the smaller house and he could have the larger house. The difference on the value was astronomical. I wanted the little tiny house, he wanted the bigger house. That's fine, not a problem. But in regards to, like, the assets, as an example, my assets with financial abuse, my 401k was drained twice over the period of time that we were together. It was drained twice by him and for the children. And anytime that we would get money back, it was always kept. So whereas his 401k had grown and grown and grown, it was untouchable because he worked for a government entity. So it was untouchable. So he was always tapping into mine. So when we got to the final tail end of it, he had to give up some of his retirement by court order, and he just felt that that was not acceptable. He earned that all by himself, along the lines of what you're saying. He felt that, no, that's my money, my money. I worked for that, failing to take into consideration that the only way you were able to accomplish that was because you had a partner who was stepping up, taking care of business, taking care of the household, taking care of the kids, contributing financially, working a full-time job. I think a lot of people forget those things, especially when you're in these types of situations like a divorce. You forget those things.
I I don't think they forget it. I think some people, there's a change of mind that comes to place when it comes to people getting divorced, because when they just want to, you know what, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
I just want to be done with all that, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get out the best way possible in the best shape
Mm-hmm.
possible. And this is my thing. And a similar situation for Jeff, the owner of Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they did not fight. He just gave her what he wanted to give her, and they went their separate ways. As a matter of fact, isn't she engaged with somebody else already? They're already moving forward with their lives. My
Mm-hmm.
only thing is, and we have another situation of a celebrity is Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre was with this lady, I think her name was Nicole. And my thing with her situation, their relationship, is that she was a little bit too aggressive when it comes to what you're supposed to give.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I think that is a big issue, because when you get to the point where you telling me that you want complete half, or you have a top number for me to give you, despite regardless of you being next to me within the time that I was doing the work, the majority of the work was done by me or by the
Mm-hmm.
person. You know what I mean? And that's why I always say, give the person enough money to the point where if they really think about it, they would feel comfortable with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But another question I have for you, let's say that you were 18 right now, or you were in your 20s. You meet somebody, you meet somebody, you guys
Mm-hmm.
really love each other, the chemistry is perfect, the compatibility is perfect. Would you still consider a prenup?
At that
What do you
age?
think?
No,
Yeah.
no, no. I think when you are young and you're just starting off and I mean, you're still building your life at that point, unless, you belong to Mensa and you graduated from Harvard at 12, I mean,
Yeah.
you're some genius. I think, we're all just starting off. So it is all about building together. It is all about working together to accomplish the goals and the tasks and whatever you set forth for yourself. No, absolutely not. No, how many of us at 18 have anything to, if we're just talking assets, how many of us at 18, realistically, how many of us at 18 have any net value?
Not
Not many, not many. Um, and how many of us at 18 think about first of all, oh, this isn't going to be for forever. Especially at that age and that developmental stage. I mean, if we start talking some Piaget and we start talking about some child development and where we're at really in our minds when we're 18, oh, this is forever. This is forever. This is going to be forever. So we don't think about those things,
I,
right?
I don't know, but I've met some pretty young kids whom shared the idea of a prenup, despite the fact that
Nowadays,
yes, they were
yeah.
just working at McDonald's. I'm like,
Wow.
prenup. And they'll tell you, yeah, what if I make it tomorrow? But these are kids that are driven. There's just
Hmm.
not any type of kids. It's like I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to
Hmm.
be financially free. And
Hmm.
within that mindset, but you see, this is my problem. Prenup, don't get me wrong, nothing is wrong with prenup. But for me, I feel like when you get in a relationship and prenup becomes so important, now you got me questioning your loyalty and your love for me.
Hmm.
But at the same time, if you're really thinking about it, people do change. We don't
Hmm.
know what the person's reaction is going to be, especially when they realize that you're moving forward and they still haven't grabbed, the ladder the way they expected to
Hmm.
do so. You know what I mean? And people's mind change when they realize that you're the one being the breadwinner. You're making all the money. They'll use that against you, to their own advantage to do what they have to do. And that's the problem. Sometimes I feel like, and that's why it's necessary to get to know people to the fullest, to understand if you're gonna dive in for all the right reasons, because
Right.
some people will tell you money is the motive,
Hmm.
and some people will get in your life. They know that you're gonna be somebody. That's important.
Hmm.
They know that you're gonna make something out of your life. They see your drive. They see how you wake up every day, how you're highly motivated. They know that, okay, this cat's gonna be something. Right. And there are people that have run into their circle who have women who know exactly where to find those type of people. Let's say that you're dating a guy who's already playing football in high school, college.
Hmm.
These are promised kids. You know what I mean? Like
True.
you know this is expected. If a boy like that decide to tell you, yeah, I want you to sign a prenup. Now everything's being questioned. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
why would you want me to? And the reason why I want you to sign it is because I feel like I might probably get picked first draft, like, and I'm gonna be in the NFL making good money. A prenup would be necessary. And I feel like right now, especially in today's reality, this is one of the questions that you have to ask. This is one of the uncomfortable questions that you have to ask. You have to at least talk about it, like you said. And I feel like if you're gonna be honest, depending on how driven you are, any age, you're gonna have to have that conversation. What you think?
I I agree.
Okay.
I agree on those facts. I think the overall population is not there. I think the
Hmm.
overall population is, middle class standard. We don't have a whole lot to speak of. Um, you know, do you know there is such a thing as a postnuptial?
Yeah.
So I've seen people do that post-nuptial agreement or marital settlement, depending upon the state that you're in. Um, and that came down to the one in particular that I'm thinking of. That came down to they were in the marriage, they were in the relationship, and the one party realized already this is a toxic relationship, and I'm getting ready to do this and do that, and I don't want you to have any say so to it. Um, it's such a prenup is
That's what I'm saying.
it's like a taboo word,
That's what I'm
right?
saying.
You say prenup in a relationship, and it for a lot of people it's a taboo word. People
You
start
said
questioning, you don't trust me, you don't think this is forever, you've got insecurities that you're dealing with. It's a tough conversation.
it's a tough, uncomfortable conversation that needs to be had
Mhm.
because, but this whole thing, and that's the thing, that's what I'm saying. Island people views, and people in big cities and big countries, they're completely different. I feel like the idea of a prenup sometimes might make people feel there's no togetherness. We're not gonna be in this together forever. When
Mhm.
when you bring me, because that brings so many questions. Like
Oh yeah.
you think I'm gonna take advantage of you?
Yeah.
I'm not saying you're gonna take advantage of me, but um, I don't know if you will. But all those questions, the reason why it's important to talk about those things is because you want to really know the person's reaction. What's the fixed face impression, that expression? What's gonna be the expression on the person's face to like, oh, okay, let me read you. Let me see exactly what you really think about it. But for me, if I'm gonna be honest, and a lot of people might not agree with me on that, if we're really talking about loving each other, I don't see the place of a prenup. That would be in the perfect world. But unfortunately, we're not in the perfect world.
Mhm.
I wouldn't see the place of a prenup. And but today, in today's reality, everybody's being placed in a box. Despite you not knowing that the person you're talking to is analyzing everything that you do,
Mhm.
positive or negative, you still being placed in a box. Because when he's talking to his friends about you, like, oh yeah, she's a put together lady. She's well put together. She already has her house. She's working. She's
Mhm.
just well established financially. These are the things. Yes, he's bragging about it,
Mhm.
but these are pluses. Like you gaining stuff by saying that, but the person is analyzing everything from you as well. The person's always making sure, like a regular standard. If I know that I'm able to provide $5,000 to $6,000 a month, I would at least want somebody to provide 4 to 5. And
Mhm.
that's basically going to be beneficial for the both of us because I'm not going to be the one dragging the cross throughout the entire relationship financially. This is
Right.
important,
Right.
especially in today's reality. Women work, men work. Everything comes with the statute that we are able to support each other. We are able to support the family. We are able to buy houses and do a bunch of stuff. That's
Mhm.
beneficial. But when we basically take the money out of it, and we're going to be completely honest, is a prenup really necessary, or you guys don't trust each other like that to the force, or
If we
you
take
really
the if we take the money out of it, what use is it? I mean, what do you need it for, right? But I can only speak personally from where I'm at right now and what I've worked hard to obtain. And is that a question that when I've dated a guy for a little period of time that I ask? Yes, because I want to know what the reaction is. I want to know, how do you feel about a prenup? Would you be willing to sign a prenup? I've
Would you?
asked that question a couple of times. I've gotten really good responses, but you know, it's such it's hard, peace. It's hard. It's a hard one. And I think it really depends on your stage in life. It really depends on if you've had prior relationships, if you've got kids, what your assets look like, what your employment looks like. I think there's so many factors that play into it that I don't think it's a one size fits all.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm married right now. If I wasn't married, and that's what I wanted to bring up. If I wasn't married and I was dating right now, anybody will see that I'm asking them. Anybody that I happen to ask about a prenup know that I'm really interested in a relationship, and that's
Mhm.
what a lot of people don't understand. I'm interested in a relationship to know if you would be willing to sign a prenup
Correct.
because I see us in longer terms.
Right.
People might feel offended about it because I don't know if money is your motivation. Because a lot of people would get in relationships knowing that the person already have money because that's basically what they've been looking. It wasn't love. A lot of
Mm-mm.
people get in relationship for different reasons, and that's
Sugar
why.
mama, sugar daddy. Oh yeah.
Come
Yeah.
on now.
Been there, done that. Yeah.
Yeah, some girls would follow basketball shows just so they could meet people just to run within their
Right.
cycle. Like
Right.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
People do that all the time. And when
Yes.
you find yourself in that situation, you definitely have to ask the question. But in my days, if I was single, if I was looking to get in a relationship with anybody, the only time I would be asking your concerns about a prenup is only if I was really interested. That's all it is.
Mhm.
It's like, hey, I know that we've been dating for a while. What's going on with this? What's going on with that? How do you feel about a prenup? Like, what's your thought? People might probably say, why would you even think about prenup? But they're not thinking about the bright side. It's like, I'm only asking you that because maybe I'm considering that with the way we've been
There's
rocking,
potential. Yeah, there's
there's
potential
potential.
for a long term. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Agree. Agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
What would be the point any other way? I'm not going to discuss my finances with you when, I've known you for a month or 2 months or 6 months or, God only knows what the time limit is on when I might feel comfortable to discuss that with you. But certainly, if there's vibes, you're vibing and things are good and, you've got healthy communication, then yeah, I mean, that's it's one of those questions that has to be asked, like, do you want more kids or do you want kids or where do you want to live and where do you see yourself in 5 years? I mean, it's one of those questions that it's very telling. It answers a lot whether people realize it or not. It answers a lot with regards to intent and motive. um it has to be asked if you're looking for a healthy long-term relationship.
Yeah.
Where I'm at in my life, it has to be asked. I'm not going to give up everything that I've worked hard for someone to jump on the bandwagon and 6 months later, just because you've reached the threshold in my community property state, now you get half of everything. No, just because maybe you had me fooled or something. No, no, not where I'm at in my life at 51. No.
Let me ask you.
Ask me.
So let's say that the person decide to sign a prenup. You've
Hmm.
built everything from the point that you are in right now.
Hmm.
The person decided to sign a prenup, and then you realize that this guy or wherever it is that you decided to be with, it was a mistake to even have a prenup. Would you tear it apart?
Yeah. Yeah,
Would
later on down the road? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, if this is someone, I want I want someone who is my best friend, who has my welfare, my well-being, which then means my kids, at the forefront, who has shown themselves to be trustworthy and compassionate and empathetic and everything that we want in a healthy relationship, right? If that person shows me all of that and we continue to build and grow, then yeah, I'm going to trust you wholeheartedly. I mean, that's what you hope for from the beginning, right? Do we make mistakes? We absolutely do. But you try for that and you hope for that from the beginning. If that's shown and that's proven, and I see that, okay, I married this person, we had a prenup, but you know what, this person loves my kids and would bend over backwards and stand in front of a bullet for my kids as much as I would, I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry about it. I know, God forbid I leave this earth tomorrow, this person's going to make sure my kids are taken care of. Absolutely, I would have that removed. And I've seen in the news over the years, especially the media, the stars and all of that, where they kind of have the graduating ones. Once we make it to this many years, it goes to this, and then once we make it to this many years, it goes to this. So yeah, if the proof is in the pudding, yeah, why do I need it then at that point?
So basically, what you're saying is there's a positive progression level that it needs to get to for you to change your mind, especially at the age that you're at right now.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. And that, honestly, peace, especially when you're going through so much healing and growth, that could change tomorrow. I mean, we all have a right to change our mind, you know, free will. But where I'm at today and where I'm at in my life and with what I've accomplished and what I'm working towards, that would be important to me. I want first, my kids come first. I come first, as far as my health, my wellness, my well-being, I come first. But my kids are my number one priority. They're my why. That's why I pursue. I want my kids to be okay when I'm gone. And somebody's got to understand that. And I think in a healthy relationship, when two people come together and they communicate openly about that, I don't think there should be any qualms with a prenup.
I I totally agree because especially if you have kids, and if
Mhm.
the person also have kids, I'm
Right.
going to expect them to do the exact same thing to
Yeah.
understand exactly where you're coming from. Because
Yeah.
if I have kids from a previous relationship, I bet you my bottom dollar my child's gonna be safe regardless of you being with me or not.
Mhm.
Like, that's the
Mhm.
known fact. He's gonna have his money, he's gonna have his thing. This is me making sure that my kid never ever
Mhm.
feel abandoned over the fact that I'm in a new relationship. And with the prenup, that basically is gonna help me a lot because maybe I thought you were somebody else. I thought you were like everything that you said you were, and then when you start to unfold on me, I realized that man, I worked hard to make $15 million that's gonna go to trash just because I trusted the wrong person.
Yeah.
It's all about understanding that trusting somebody is not something that can be done without actions. You're basically
Correct.
gonna have to keep going within the process, understanding exactly who the person is as a whole, in order for you to decide further down the road, okay, I think he's been working more than me. Is probably he got more money than me, or you know what I mean. So there's definitely a balance to it. But
Mhm.
especially on your age, I do understand there's a the age difference. Definitely gonna do a lot of things. Having kids definitely gonna do a lot of things.
Mhm.
The drive is definitely gonna do a lot of things. It's one decision, but to be completely honest with you, I would suggest that at least have that conversation. Right?
Mhm.
Regardless of you not doing it, regardless of you probably thinking about it, it's best to have that conversation. Hey,
Oh yeah.
what's your thought on a prenup? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Because because right now the one thing a lot of people are just like, how much money is Bill Gates going to give to his ex-wife? Because They've been together for 27 years. 27 years is not 27 days.
Mm-hmm.
So when you really think about it, for somebody who've been rich as long as Bill Gates, and don't get me wrong, full credit to him. He worked, he did what he had to do. That's not, I'm never gonna take that credit away from him.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, for somebody who's been with you for 27 years,
he didn't do it by himself.
Like, and on top of that, I feel like $2.4 billion that she only has is a little cheap. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm just with 3 kids. Like, I have one, and I understand the amount of work that needs to be done. Attention alone is very, very needed.
Oh,
so, you know what I mean? So now I'm basically.
Yeah, I think there's got to be some equitable distribution with Bill Gates, because yes, he built that empire that he built, but he wasn't alone. You know, whether she was working, whether she wasn't working, she was raising those kids, she was holding it down, she was standing by his side. Yes, building something like that, there needs to be some type of balance. Now, whether that's 50-50, I can't say that, but there's got to be some sort of equitable balance there. You know, you can't be here. There's got to be some middle ground there.
Key question: in your case, would you ask?
Say that again.
If you were in Bill Gates' wife's position, how much money would you require him to give you?
Oh God.
Let's be honest here.
Oh wow. Those are all just big like numbers that don't compute. You know, you're like, oh well, she's only got 2.4 billion, and I'm like, dude, I'm 51. I could live comfortably off that.
Spill the beans, man. But this is somebody who's been already living comfortably. It's not somebody who's just getting to that position. Wow. She's been within that lifestyle. She's been around that circle. She's been Bill Gates' wife. So the regular life that we might have, hers is probably 3 times beyond. So
oh yeah, I get it.
Keeping up that lifestyle with somebody, because next to Bill Gates, she didn't have to worry about it because he's still here. But when he's gone, and especially all the kids already past 18, you see what I'm saying? So,
he owes her. He does owe her something. I don't know that I could even put a number on it, but he owes her something. He didn't do it himself. He really didn't. Whether she was there in the office with him or not, he didn't do it himself. She enabled him to be able to build that empire, and that's work. You know, being the other half of a power couple, or you know, even being behind the scenes of someone who is such a powerful man, she wasn't just sitting around twiddling her thumbs. We as parents know that, right? She was not just sitting around twiddling her thumbs, going and getting her nails done. Oh, I'm going to travel here and I'm going to go there. And she wasn't doing that, right? For him to be as powerful and successful and her to have her own portfolio, he owes her something. I don't know what the number is.
You don't want to put a number on it.
I can't put a number on it. No. It's I don't know. I went through it. We didn't have billions of dollars, but you know what we did have, what was fair was half of what we had. Now, I wouldn't even I wouldn't know what to do with those kind of numbers. I honestly, I'm stumped. You got me. I can't answer. Next question.
That's basically it, because you know, prenup is very important, especially if you're already in a financial position that you could actually call better or well established than the other person. If you're already there, you're finding somebody that, you know, yes, I could still offer you that lifestyle, but I also have to save myself until I don't have to. Let's put it that way.
Let me give you this. let me give you this. Okay. Let's go back to Texas. Texas is a community property state. Okay. I bought my home single. However, in the state of Texas, if I were to marry, that person has a homestead claim to the marital home, according to the laws of Texas. They have a homestead claim to the property. So, will I have a prenup? Yes. Could it be argued in court that I purchased the property prior to the relationship? Yes. But there is still laws on the books that would give someone some type of financial interest in just using my home as an example. So there's that.
That's definitely yeah, because I guess it also depends on the state that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
You also have to know the law enough to know what type of decision that you're making in the state that you're in, because and a lot of people don't even know that. That's what's even more difficult, because you might think that you're just doing things just to do things. Same like a lot of states don't tell you things like, if you've been with the person for a long period of time, by law you were seen as a couple, as a married couple. Like
Yep, common law.
Common law. So so
Texas still has common law laws on the books. Yes. Especially nowadays with domestic partnerships. The laws have changed. All kinds of laws have changed. You got to do your homework.
Well, basically there's nothing else to say, because we basically spilled the beans all over the place. Gave the whole.
Yeah, we're both stumped.
Yeah, man. Hey, let me tell you, what I'm gonna say. If you're out there and you just meet a young lady or a young guy, whatever, a guy, whatever it is, understand exactly what the person is gonna bring to the table. Keep building that trust, man. The prenup decision, nobody can tell you to do it or not. It's definitely from your gut feelings. Like, what you really feeling. Like, do you think you should, or you think you shouldn't? You know what I mean? Depending on the amount of money, if you're really thinking about your kids' interests and everything, what's important to you, how you want to save yourself, not from the person, but from having to rebuild everything from ground zero. Right. That's really important. What would be your last words?
It's a conversation that has to be had, but I use the phrase a lot. It's not one size fits all.
Absolutely.
That's all I can say.
Well, it's always a pleasure to have you here. We have another live session coming up, people. This Sunday, we're going to talk about, what is that we're going to talk about?
Saturday.
Was it? Oh, Saturday.
Saturday.
Next Saturday, we're going to be talking about...
oh, Lord, we're going to have an even harder topic than prenup.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
We're going to have an even harder topic than the prenup.
The audio is bad.
Oh, my food. You hear me now?
Yeah, it's still bad. It's like double.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hey guys, it was real nice to have that discussion with you guys. I know that we had another technical difficulties, but thank God we didn't go as crazy as the last time. Unbreakable and Uplifting, I'm definitely gonna leave a link. She did get a YouTube channel opened up, so she's gonna be dropping a lot of good content. She's happy on the other side. She's gonna be doing a lot of content. We're gonna be doing lives on the channel as well. So stay tuned, because we have a lot more to talk about. Stay tuned for next Saturday, because we're gonna be talking about life after relationship abuse. What's the dating life gonna be like? Things that you're probably gonna use in your next relationship. If you've ever been in situations where you've been abused and all that crazy stuff, trust issues and all that, you have to watch that next live. We'll definitely make sure that everything goes as expected. Yep. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other. Thank you. Bye.